Hello there everyone, and welcome to the Rookie Critic YouTube channel. It's been a little while since I did a one-on-one where you guys can just kind of get to know me, and I did a stream recently with Josiah Rises, and I kind of talked about myself on there about halfway through and about my journey into wanting to become a filmmaker. So I feel like I'm just going to do that again right here. I'm going to walk you through why I want to become a director someday. Why do I love film so much? So I can go back to when I was a kid, and as a kid, I wasn't really that much into film, surprisingly. I was more into sports and art and science and whatnot, and eventually going into middle school-ish, like right around going into middle school, I was getting really into reading and writing. I really was getting into reading novels, and I really wanted to write my own stories, my own ideas down. A lot of my first ideas were literally Star Wars fan fiction type ideas, where me and my buddies are, as Star Wars characters, and we're trying to fight all the bad guys and whatnot, and they're really ridiculous, really atrocious. I do have some of those stories saved, and I think I've said before that I'm going to probably share them at some point. I shared a few snippets from one at one point, but again, these are a lot of pages too, and they're very, very, very cringe, which when you're reading a lot of cringe can induce a huge headache. But I'll get to those later at some other point. But in middle school, things were going all right, and when I got into high school, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do for the future, so I think I even took a film production class, and I didn't care about film at the time, so I didn't remember anything from that class. And going all throughout high school, I still had these writing ideas. Like, all throughout middle school, I would keep on writing my ideas down for books, but then in high school, when I got Netflix for the first time, that started to transition into movies, started to transition into film. I was starting to, one of the ideas that I had after I got Netflix was, how come all these movies haven't been, together? How come all these characters from all these other movies haven't been in the same movie? And so I was thinking of something like having the aliens and predators come down. I made... The movie idea I had was called Finally the Movies Come Together, and it literally has a super mall as the main plot point, the main location, and there's the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil that's under it. Aliens and predators land nearby down on the planet. Some vampires live over nearby the other area. There's some marine stuff going on that just happens to go over the mall, and then they get involved a little bit as well. Mortal Kombat comes in big time. They're actually a huge factor in that story. Jackie Chan, The Rock, and a few other people that are naturally skilled at not naturally skilled, but in real life are buff or skilled, are just present at the mall when this seems to happen. There's lots of actresses and actors that are just there for an event, for the opening of the mall or something, and it's just this huge, ridiculous story, and eventually I pull in other characters like the X-Men and Iron Man and stuff. It's just so silly and ridiculous, but that was the first seed that led to a lot of other actual movie ideas. I was thinking, I want to bring what I'm writing to life instead of just making it a book where you imagine it. I wanted to literally show you what I'm thinking. I want to show you what I want to do. And so I tried to make more scripts at some point. The writing, it took me a while to get the actual format of a script, but eventually I got there. And I've wrote so many stories, and there's a lot of, it came to a point where instead of just writing and trying to focus on the script, which I hardly finished my scripts, I'd always get about halfway and then I'd have all these other ideas come in and change from the beginning, but I would keep on writing the backstories. If there was a main character, I'd be like, okay, so their parents were from this land and had this area, and that's why they're here with the kid, but they also went through their own thing, and I would just go into needless backstory. Oh, one character is going to show up in one part of the thing. Well, we got to know where they came from for whatever the heck reason, I keep on thinking. And so it took me a long time to realize at some point, I was like, I sat down and thought, I'm like, okay, so what if by some miracle somebody wants to buy the script that I make? Well, if they buy it, then I pretty much have no say in it. I get the money from it, and that's it. If it becomes successful, or they change a bunch of stuff, I don't really get that much from it. I might get credit for the name, for making the story, but I don't even know how that would work, really, if they bought it from me. Maybe I could sell it in a way where I still have some control over it, but whatever studio would get it would mostly be able to do whatever they want with it, I would imagine. So I don't really want to do that. I want to have some control in bringing it to life. And so eventually I wanted to become a director. I was like, if I want to do that, I can't just write. I have to know all these other aspects of film. So after a while, I thought I'd take the one class in college that does teach film. I live in the Northwest, so there's no huge film programs over in my area. There are some colleges that teach some film classes, but not that much. It's not a whole school for it, not a big education. So I thought I'd take this class and see where to go. By the end of that, I realized that I should just pick up a camera and start filming something. At least start getting a little bit of the experience, so that someday I can either go to school and already know some of it, or I get hired on a very small time job and I have a little bit of experience, not that much, but maybe I could learn on the job. But anyway, so I bought a camcorder. I used my mom's photography tripod. I downloaded a free editing software on my computer and started to record. I didn't know what the hell to record because I'm the only person here. I was like, okay, mom's gone, so it's like just a couple years after high school. And I was just like, all right, so now what? It was just literally, I don't even know. I just had the camera and I was like, what do I even do? Oh yeah, I have to write a script, duh. I can't just pick up the camera and record. So I'm like, okay, what can I write? What can I have happen? And I thought of making it be how I transitioned from wanting to just be like a film person. I want to express my love for film, as to where maybe I want to go into business, because it was at that same time where recently, it wasn't too long after I took the cinema class that I took a intro to business class, and I realized I don't want to do business, but I do like a lot of the knowledge that I gained from it. And there's kind of this struggle between where I go with my future. Do I want to be a business owner, or do I want to be a filmmaker? And so I thought I would make that the little story for my very first video that I try to make. But I'm like, how do I do that? I'm the only person here. There's no one to talk to. What am I going to be doing that entices dialogue? I'm just here. There's nobody to bounce off. So there were some YouTubers that I watched. I think Channel Awesome, the Nostalgia Critic, was one of the first YouTube channels that I started to watch frequently, as well as Chris Stuckman. But I didn't get much inspiration from Stuckman. I got the inspiration from Channel Awesome. They do the reviews where they have the review and they write a script. They make all these characters. They have a huge production out of it: green screen, special effects, sound, lighting, costumes, makeup, everything. They put all this effort into a review alone. Holy shit. So I was like, okay, maybe I can make another character. So I made Jeffrey, the character. He's Jeffrey, the business Jeff. He's the one that's more inclined to, save money, and he's more a little strict on things. A little less fun, and a little more seriousness. So that's the Jeffrey character. And I called him, my first split personality, and he legitimately separates from my body. And so this way, I can, but throughout the film until I get to that point, I'm just doing my own thing. I can show instead of tell, even though it's still pretty awful. And eventually I can have the conversation and have a little fight with him. And the fight was awful. I did post this video a while back called Trying to Write a Screenplay, is what I titled it. I might have unlisted it though, because there's a lot of copyright stuff, because I played a lot of music that does not belong to me. That's like a minute long on each of those songs. So I don't know if I still have that up, but I'll let you know if I do. And so not too long after I made that, I decided that I should make a YouTube channel. And it took me a while to figure out how I'm going to do that, because the first title I came up with was Jeff's Movie Quadrant. I even literally posted a video where I made an intro for my channel, which is how I was going to launch it. It was going to be called Jeff's Movie Quadrant, and it was just kind of awful. I mean, it had the same gist of what would become the Rookie Critic, but it was just a quadrant was to reference the universe, because I love space stuff. I'm a huge exoplanet guy. I wanted to be an astrobiologist at one point, until I realized that I'd have to learn and master 4 areas that are difficult: chemistry, geography, and astronomy, and something else. And I'm like, oh, fuck that. Nope, not gonna do that. But I decided, I don't remember what I was doing. I was just writing down different names and different things I could do. I'm like, oh, I'm a starting YouTuber. Maybe I'm the rookie, but I'm like, but how does that involve film? The rookie director? No, I'm not a director yet. That doesn't make any sense. Well, there's the Nostalgia Critic. He covers nostalgic things, and he's a critic of movies. Maybe I could be the Rookie Critic. I'm covering movies as well, and I'm brand new, so why not? I could critique some things. Okay, why not? He does skits in his thing that Nostalgia Critic doesn't imply that that's what he would do, but he does it anyway. So that's what I did. I became the Rookie Critic, and I made a couple of first videos actually before I posted my first like beginning skit. I made a couple different skits. They were pretty much shorter versions of what the end result finally was. They're just like a few jokes that I didn't have yet at the time, and a few camera angles and audio things that I didn't have set up properly, but eventually I did get it, and that became my first YouTube video, and it was called like the Enter the Rookie Critic or something, and it was actually had decent views considering I didn't have any followers. It had like 50 views at some point, and that was like my highest viewed video for the longest time because I didn't have any followers. The people that subscribed, I swear, were just friends on Facebook that were like, I feel kind of sorry for the guy, let me give him a sub and never watch his stuff. So whatever views I got were surprising to me. Anyway, moving right along, I made about 40 videos in my first run. It was about 3 months and I made 40 videos. And while I was working on a lot of those videos, I was at work at Subway, of course, and one of my coworkers expressed interest in YouTube. So, I thought that he and I could work together. He said that he has Adobe After Effects and is trying to learn animations and special things and whatnot. And I thought, okay, we could be a good team. You could be my animator. You can add in special effects and do all these cool intros and outros and stuff, but that never really led anywhere. He did make about 3 intros of my first run, which I posted many times before. It was for my mini reviews, and the Rookie Critic, it like had the Rookie Critic explosion and the Rookie Critic title and fire and stuff, and it was okay, but the communication was awful with us, and we tried to do a review of something once, which was awful. We were just both on screen, and I think we were trying to review Fast and the Furious 8, and we just had no good on-screen chemistry of jokes or anything. Like, it was just awful. It was boring to watch. It was just not very good. It was a 20-minute review, and I decided not to post it at all, but I did include it in some bloopers because there were a few funny moments during our attempt at a review together. But anyway, that didn't last very long with him, so by the time I got to 40, I was just like, man, like, there was like, my views sucked. My views sucked. I was getting disappointed by the 40th video. I was like, man, nobody's watching me. What's the point? What am I doing here? I'm trying to shout to something, have somebody see my stuff, critique me even. Nothing. Nobody commented ever. Nobody, I think I had 1 like here or there, a couple dislikes here or there, but nobody would say anything to me, so I was getting furious. I was just like, God, what the fuck? What am I doing wrong? I thought I'm doing it okay. Am I funny? Are the skits too long? Do people not like the skits? I have no idea. But eventually, so I made the National Sandwich Day skit video, which I think was hilarious, by the way, but I'm starting to realize that people don't really like the skits, but I might as well end my first season, as I called it later, with a huge skit to end it. So I had all my Jeff characters. By that point I had Jeff Rowe, the Jeffster, Jeffy Fro, Jeffy, a couple different ones. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to put all these Jeffs on ice. I'm going to get rid of them and just end the channel, and that's how it's going to be. It's going to be a huge final fight between me and Jeffrey as we try to stop, and I'm going to put all the Jeffs in the closet, and I'll leave it kind of ambiguous to where, okay, so I'm ending the channel, but it's not going to be the complete end. I'm going to leave it open-ended enough to where I can make a return if I wanted to. I wanted to revamp because I didn't know what to do anymore. I was like, I don't want to stop because I learned a lot in that 40 videos on how to do stuff on it, about filmmaking, about editing, about dubbing, about adding in special effects here and there, and trying to act and stuff, and trying to get camera angles. I was learning so much through that. I did not want to stop, but I did want to gain an audience. I was like, this is just not doing good if nobody can tell me, hey, just give me a hint, tell me that this is awful, tell me they want something else, what they might do. Anything. Is this a complete waste of time or not? Am I actually learning good skills from this, or is this pathetic skills so basic it's ridiculous? So anyway, about 8 months later is when I officially relaunched my channel, and I had a couple of reviews up. I had the Proud Mary review, my Power Rangers review. This is where I introduced the putties and the skits and stuff, and I tried to really apply more filmmaking style quality to the skits so that it was a little better, add some actual character, make characters that are not just Jeff characters, and I had a lot more fun with it. It was a lot more fun, and the way that I did the editing on the videos were a lot better than before. I had a better microphone, I think, so it sounded a little better, the quality was good. I didn't do the reviews with the whole Jeff squad because they were all in the closet and cryo sleep from before. And eventually, Jeff Hicks saw one of my videos and shared it out, and he gave me like a good 100 sub boost. And I realized that as I watch a lot of the YouTubers that I followed at the time, I'm like, why don't I interact in the live streams? I mean, they live stream all the time, and I like to listen to them. I'd like to talk to people. Well, I'm a dumbass and didn't realize there's a chat that they're responding to. I'm like, because I would usually catch their live streams when they're not live, so I didn't really notice there was a chat that you could directly interact with and other people and with them. So at some point I just kind of realized that, and eventually I found Jeff the Iron Wolf and Black Against Reviews, and found Sid Kryptonian on Twitter, and Flipped Out came in from knowing Angus, and all these things. I started to connect with a bunch of people on YouTube, and it was I was finally getting an audience. I was finally getting to know some people. Aster4 Jaden and Jeremy Peterson were like some of my first commenters on my channel that were actually watching some of my videos. And the Lone Wolf Cub, he watched like all my Season 1 stuff. And I think people kind of liked how I had it like, oh, Season 1 was here, Season 2 is here, Season 3 was here, Season 4 is here. And it's like, I'm trying to approach YouTube knowing that I'm going to take breaks at some point, because after you do this for quite a while, you get this just irritating vibe or something. You go, am I not making any progress, or I'm making so much progress and I'm stressed, and you just want to have a little break at some point. So plan a break, I say, is always good. But anyway, just my whole love for film kept on growing the more people I can interact with. I was able to talk with a lot of people in the Fandom Menace community, and I've talked with Jeff Hicks, talked with Jeremy, talked with Josiah Rises, talked with Midnight's Edge After Dark, talked with so many other people, and people that have like mind with me with film, that I finally found a good place here. And I've got a lot of advice from some people. I've watched some channels that really know how to edit and do some cool tricks, and I've been more inspired than ever to keep on doing my channel. I really kind of feel like this is how I will learn how to be a director until I am educated by somebody else that can actually teach me in real life. And I do a lot of my skit projects. That's what I'm pretty much known for. I'm the skit guy. I'm the guy who has all these characters. I'm the guy who tries to get a whole bunch of other YouTube channels involved in the projects and help me out with it and whatnot and make a story. And I kind of like that, because that's what I like to do. I like to be able to talk to people. I like to utilize their skills as best that they can do. And I've had a lot of fun, and I don't know if I'll ever truly become like a Hollywood film director or if I'll become an indie director. I know that there's still a humongous hill to climb for me. I'm just barely at the bottom, just still trying to scrape up to the top, but I am learning more and more all the time, and hoping that I'll be skilled enough to be able to deliver you guys a really good product someday. My Rookies Legends project that I'm working on now to start filming in February, that might be the last one that I do before I legitimately start looking for people in my town and across the state to join me in some film projects, because right now I'm loving doing the YouTube interaction skits that I do. But I know that, if I wanted to have like an actual shot at, people recognizing an indie film, you have to have people in the scene with you. I have to be able to be behind the scenes and be a director and allow other people to do stuff for me, and on set, go to locations, find costumes, do all this stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I do want to learn as well, which I can learn some of it as I'm doing it with the skit projects right now, but it's just not 100%, and that's not the interactions that I would have if this were real. I love being able to do it across the seas with everybody. People in Germany can join me on this, Australia, everywhere. You can all join me on these projects, but ultimately that's not what people would want to see, because like every fight scene has to be cut and spliced together as to where, letting it play out on camera, that's something I love to see in actual movies, and I'd love to try to bring out into an actual project too. So yeah, that's basically the story of the Rookie Critic. Don't know what else to say on this right there. I could go into more detail into why I love film in general, but it kind of turned into why I became the Rookie Critic and why I'm here right now doing what I do. And I'm loving it. I'm sure I'll be around for quite a long time, and I'll be improving as we go. Again, you guys can still see my very first videos if you like. I'm going to keep them up. As much as I improve, I want everybody to be able to look back at where I was and see where I am now. So is the most embarrassing video? Doesn't matter anymore. I pretty much have no shame. I don't care if I embarrass myself at all, because in a way that kind of allows me to, reach into the acting prowess and being able to be comfortable talking to everybody and do everything. So you're not embarrassed, nothing to worry about. But that's about it. I love film. That's the story of the Rookie Critic. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.